Hi guys, so let's now take a look at evaluating these elasticities of demand. These are all higher order skills, and being able to use these sorts of points in your judgments on elasticities will really set you apart from the majority of candidates in the exam. So let's take a look. So firstly, which elasticity of demand has been your favourite? Why? Which one do you think is most important for a business? Why is that? What does that depend upon? Well, let's take the example firstly of price elasticity of demand. We saw price elasticity of demand was really useful in helping us to understand how revenue is likely to actually change depending upon those different firm objectives that businesses have. So that's very useful when you apply it to that sort of scenario. But we also saw that income elasticity of demand also has significant uses when it comes to forecasting likely demand changes for certain goods throughout the economic cycle. So yeah, it's very much down to what you think is best and what you think is most appropriate. But of course, and this relates to actually my third point here, that different elasticities are of use for different firm-related decisions. So that's an important point to understand. Okay. But we've also got this point here, do firms really know their elasticities? Well, perhaps one of the best examples of a firm knowing their elasticities of demand is Uber. Uber, of course, when you actually open up their app, that will actually communicate a price level to you, so you are actually aware of how expensive the cab is likely to be. But at the same time, Uber will also have that data of how many people in a given locality are actually trying to find a taxi at any given point in time. That then enables them to use surge pricing, where they can also ensure that they're charging more and using a form of price discrimination there to actually charge more at peak periods. So that's an interesting one as well. But contrast that with smaller businesses. Are they likely to know their elasticities of demand? Well, it's much less doubtful, but they will try to approximate, even if you ask the business owner, oh, what is your elasticity of demand? They might not even be aware of what that means in essence, but they will be aware of moments of peak demand and moments of lower demand. So then you'll see things like lunchtime offers, perhaps at restaurants or pubs, which are quiet during the daytime but busy in the evening. Okay, so let's move it on to our fourth point here. The elasticities vary enormously across consumer groups, regions, and they can be affected by a wide variety of different things. Thus, calculating these elasticities can be very difficult unless you have such dynamic pricing information as Uber has been able to generate from its consumers and the data they're actually providing based on their locality and the fact that they're opening up the Uber app to find out about how much a taxi will cost to a given destination. But it's also interesting to note that I once saw an article purporting that Uber actually had information on how much of a person's phone battery remained in place for them to actually make that taxi order. And what that was really suggesting was how Uber would then be able to charge more if your battery is about to go flat. Interesting. Right, so then we've got elasticities and rational behaviour, of course. And if you are feeling more irrational, perhaps you're in a rush, then you're more likely to make quick pricing decisions, decisions that you wouldn't make in the cold, calm, quiet of a normal day. Okay, all right, so a lot of useful points there to consider, and a really good way of actually finishing off any essay on elasticities of demand. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.